Yes, indeed, it's popular to wake up each day and chase your dreams, but sometimes you need to slow it down. You know, all that dreams and a bit more, you know, maybe relaxation.
Is Mazino singing?
Yes, indeed, I am singing.
Where you're supposed to be rapping. Reset, restart, and refocus. Don't try me. Good morning and welcome to a freshly prepared Tuesday edition of your numero breakfast show.
Yes, indeed.
Yes.
It's Wake Up Nigeria, guys, and you are welcome. Now, for Tuesday, who do we have in the kitchen? None other than the man himself, looking fly. It's Mr. Mike Mazino.
Mike, don't worry. We know. You got to show yourself.
Mazino, you need to cut soap for us. Cut soap for us this morning.
What is it? What is it with Mike and cutting soap?
Cut soap.
It's a hair natural zone I'm using.
No, that Ian Natural zone is super.
Small.
Like, we really have to give props to that guy, man. This soap he's using, man. If we get the, and that's purple patch.
The one that will amaze me the most is if AJ beats Tyson Fury.
Hey, don't jinx it.
That one, I'm going to say, I'll go to his family house and say, I'm not leaving here till you give me that soup.
In any case, even if you're Tyson or Fury or whoever, hey, whatever life throws at you sometimes, you just have to roll with the punches. See what I did there?
Yeah. Show yourself.
Yes, indeed. Attitude creates something beautiful, so approach it with that kind of attitude, and you are definitely going to succeed.
Indeed. Now, there are lots of fun activities lined up to transform your morning. It's an absolute pleasure to start the day with you. Yes, it's so great to know you're there. Thank you so much for joining us again today. My name is Mary Bashua Alimi.
And my name is Mazino Appeal. Endeavor to stay tuned throughout the entire show. And remember, you can use the hashtag #WakeUpNigeria on TVC across all social media platforms to be a part of the show.
Yes, indeed. Now, you can also watch us live from absolutely anywhere across the world, and that's through our mobile app that you can download from the Google Play Store or iOS, okay?
And of course, please follow us. We are at TVC Connect across all social media platforms, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, everything. Please use the hashtag, like I said from before. Now,
some lies are... Yes, now, you know, you can actually lie without being a liar.
Well, Lagos Cougars, though, I have not seen it, but the term cougar, what exactly defines a Nigerian cougar? Who is a Nigerian cougar? Is it the same thing as sugar mommy, or is it different?
Yeah. It's the same thing.
Is it the same thing? I don't think it is.
But this one, I think the sugar mommy is the one being forward.
No, I don't think
that's why now it's not.
No, I agree with him.
That's why I have the cougar.
I agree with him. I agree with him.
So when the sugar mommy is the one that is making the moves, it's now more cougar.
Yeah, that's when it's
you know the one that used to amaze me on social media? When some people will just comment under your post, especially when it's getting to be like viral, and they go looking for mommy or sugar daddy. And I'm like, what the heck?
The interesting thing about that was the sound mix. You hear that?
The drum.
As in, even here, we did boom.
People pick Oscars for this thing.
Let me tell you.
Take care when it comes to sound mixing.
That the Nigerian themes in movies has begun to actually break borders. All these that we use in our Nigerian movies, that's what they use outside now for all their memes and everything. They actually have Nigerian origin. That just goes to show you how wide and far-reaching Nollywood has become. I mean, there are people outside the country, especially if you go to Turkey, they love Nollywood so much.
We've moved from the days of EML.
And you're welcome. It's time for the news this morning. Welcome. My name is Mazino Appeal. Now, gunmen have attacked another police station in Okigwe South local government area of Imo State, killing 5 officers while 1 officer is said to be missing. The armed bandits also razed the police building. The attack is coming a few days after gunmen attacked the home of the governor of Imo State and police stations in the southeast. And now on to Kaduna, where security agencies have recovered 2 more dead bodies of Greenfield University students killed by armed bandits. Now, the retrieved corpses have been evacuated to a mortuary, and the university has been notified of the development. Meanwhile, it was a time for sober reflection earlier yesterday when delegations from the Kaduna State government sympathized with the families of the 3 students of the university killed by bandits 2 days after their abduction. The delegation, led by the Kaduna State Commissioner of Education, Shehu Mohammed, visited the families of the students in Jaji, Barnawa, and Sabun Tasha areas in Igabi and Chikung local government areas. The commissioner, while consoling the parents of the deceased students, reiterated the state's government's position not to negotiate with bandits, even in the face of the present situation, noting that what is required is the collaboration of all stakeholders to fight the common enemies. Now, over 3,000 people have been displaced following an attack at the Kauri community of Shiroro local government area of Niger State. The state government, the state governor, Governor Abubakar Bello, confirmed the presence of the insurgents in the community yesterday. According to the governor, the terrorists and bandits displaced the residents at IBB Central Primary School, Minna, in the company of his deputy, Ahmed Kesto, and Emir of Minna, Dr. Umar Farouk. He described the situation as critical and terrible, noting that it is high time for a well-coordinated action in order to address the problem. And now on to health matters outside of the country. Around the world, people are rallying to try to help India, which is in the midst of a surge in coronavirus cases, claiming thousands of lives each day. The UK, the US, and France are among the countries sending medical aid to India, which, in the words of its prime minister, is in the grips of a storm that has shaken the nation. Hospitals are overwhelmed, unable to admit new patients, and people are struggling to get oxygen for their loved ones. The world's worst coronavirus surge has left Indian hospitals struggling to cope with shortages of beds, medicines, and medical oxygen. India's coronavirus infection rate, growing at the fastest pace in the world, has left families and patients pleading for oxygen outside hospitals, their relatives weeping in the streets as their loved ones die while waiting for treatment. The nation of nearly 1.4 billion people set a global record of new daily infections for a fifth straight day on Monday.
Hi.
And that's it for the news this morning. We still have sports and Mike.
Time for us to check out the newspaper headlines right here on Wake Up Nigeria. We begin with the Nigerian Tribune newspaper, and it has this as the headline: Boko Haram 2 hours drive from Abuja, hoist flag in Niger. Niger governor raises alarm on that. You can read the stories of that on page 2, as well as some interesting details. NDDC board, Ijaw youth threatened to shut down Niger Delta economy. Lagos anti-corruption law, federal government to make position known soon. Dozens injured as Okada riders clash with transport union members in Lagos. NBC threatens to sanction Channels TV over interview with IPOB leader. Here we also see gunmen kill 2 more Kaduna University students, kidnap 3 in Benue University. DPO 8 other policemen, 2 others killed in Kebbi. 5 soldiers killed in another attack in Rivers State. 5 police officers killed in Imo. Hoodlums invade Anambra village, kill 9. Up here, we see NERC Malls extraordinary tariff review for 11 discos. And finally, respect federal character principle, Senate tells president. Now, all of these stories and more you can check out in the Nigerian Tribune newspaper this morning. Moving on to the Nation newspaper now. It has this as the headline: gunmen kill 44 in attacks. 13 soldiers shot dead in Rivers, Borno, Ebonyi. Policemen gunned down in Imo, Kebbi. Bodies of 2 abducted Greenfield University students found. Curfew in Anambra. Up here we see rising food prices, inflation portend danger for economy. Groups flay embassy's sanction on channels. Ajayi returns 3 vehicles. Down here, photo story showing villagers fleeing from Fuka and Gunu, Niger State, following bandits' attack at the weekend. 18 abducted in Oyo, Oshun, FCT, Benue, Kaduna. And finally, 2 feared killed in Lagos Union's clash as JAMB registers 300,000 for UTME. And from there, we move on to the Daily Sun newspaper. And for the headline, it says, many injured, property destroyed in Lagos Okada riders clash. Boko Haram takes over 50 Niger villages, hoist flag. Villagers flee to Minna, state capital. 1 officer, 6 soldiers killed in shootouts with terrorists in Mainak, Borno State. Up here, we see tension as gunmen kill 18 in fresh attacks in Anambra, Rivers, Imo. Scars injured. Bandits kill another 2 Kaduna Varsity students. How gunmen invaded Igboho's house in Ibadan. Fake COVID-19 vaccines in circulation, federal government warns, says 1.173869 Nigerians vaccinated. Here we also see Afegwa drags PDP chair to EFCC, ICPC, demands probe of party finances, allegations spurious, and that's coming from a party spokesman. And finally, U.S. Secretary of State Blinken visits Nigeria, Kenya. Doddridge, UK Minister for Africa as well. And that's it on the newspaper headlines. Okay. Must you take that?
Yes, I just had to. Just to give me that extra oomph that I need for the coffee.
You're already on whom yourself.
What's inside out here?
Bro, you don't want to see it.
In any case, all right. So let's talk politics. Or is it entertainment? I don't know what it is anymore.
It's a combination of political entertainment. Or is it entertainment politics?
Yes, I guess.
That's why I like it.
So we're talking about the saga. It's not yet a saga, but the very interesting communication between Festus Keyamo and MC Jaga Jaga himself, Idris Abdul Karim, of the weekend. You guys must have seen the exchange that happened, and even up until yesterday as it went viral, where I think one party is asking the other party for something, and the other party is not acceding to that request, and it's devolved into Idris putting out a remix of one of his tracks.
Yeah, Jaga Jaga Reloaded.
Reloaded, where he...
That's his track, that's what we know him about.
Yeah, exactly. And in that track, he actually disparaged Festus Keyamo, and he has brought out all the receipts.
In fact, oh gosh.
I was too embarrassed to read the receipts.
Too embarrassed, yeah?
I
was at a point. Yeah.
I did not. I only read the text. Apart from that, I don't think I had the energy or the... Is it the willpower?
I'm telling you.
I was like, oh my gosh, this isn't happening.
It was embarrassing.
So people are scared. And you see people sending messages like, man, everybody's just scared now. Like, people keep receipts. I mean, this is, what now, 4, 5 years?
2018. Yes. 3 years ago.
3 years ago. And, okay, so Idris Abdul Karim says, look, I reached out to you for help, for something. Okay, you could have, but you didn't. Doesn't mean that if you do something wrong, I can't call you out. Yeah. And he has a point there.
But did he do anything wrong?
Okay, no, like, okay, maybe you have not met expectations when it comes to governance.
Yeah.
I think that's the tone.
The angle that he was coming from when he mentioned it in his track.
And I think the angle Festus Keyamo was coming from was, oh, you guys usually criticize only when we don't line your pockets.
Exactly.
Which has always been the case, an established case, where you have celebrities only speaking up when after something has gone wrong, or maybe you're not benefiting from the government. That's why some celebrities speak up, instead of making it a habit. Like, you remember the old Burna Boy saga too?
Which is why, which is why I feel like look, nobody should dare desecrate or the memory of the late Fela and Nicola.
Because he stood for just himself.
Nobody has come close. So nobody. And when I see somebody say, "Oh, this is," I feel like conking somebody.
He's conking.
Well, you know the funny thing, this is not just a local problem here in Nigeria. This is something that happens across the world. Remember Lil Wayne and Trump? You know, and I think at the time, was it Kanye? Was Kanye aligned with him as well?
And I remember Kanye also had an issue with the Democrats as well.
I mean, you mentioned Burna. Burna was in River State. You know, that's talk then. So you pay entertainers, people who performed at the concert, 10 million, the governor, and he has not paid teachers in the state for 5 years.
Yeah.
And so when I still hear, I still feel like, maybe no, 5 years?
But you know, it's funny what social media is doing. Social media is actually exposing
Let me say something about that.
There's just something I remember now. I don't know whether you saw the old Obi Ezekwesili versus, what's this guy's name? Omojua.
Yeah.
That one was also very messy. Somehow, we haven't heard updates on it.
I will tell you something about social media and how you can use it in this instance here. First off, if you want to send texts, don't send texts.
What should you do?
What you should do is actually send them on Instagram. You know why? Because once you block or delete that person's account, everything vanishes.
No, some people don't wait for that. As soon as you send a message, they screenshot.
They have a special. They have reasons to do that. Is my point. But if you actually want to make messages disappear, that's what you should do. I'm not saying this because I've tried it out or I'm just saying that this is how you can actually protect yourself.
As soon as you send a message, there's already an evidence.
Then you have
because people screenshot. See, it's not about. They'll tell you that they're keeping it for
the-
future
yeah,
purposes.
Nah.
But then,
That's the usual talk.
okay, but then let's make a home run on the Festus Keyamo Idris
Yeah.
Abdul Karim issue. Do you what do you think personally? I feel like on both ends is nobody's really wrong or right.
No.
And I'm not
I
being
think it's just a
diplomatic.
personal issue that
I'm
they
not being
can settle
diplomatic here.
themselves.
Exactly.
We shouldn't have to know about it, is my
I think
point.
it's something that
Yeah, so-
was like between two people who knew each other. They could have fixed it, but one felt insulted and felt,
Parts
no,
of
you
it
made this
were
public.
very touching and emotional, actually,
Yeah,
especially the
especially when it
part
had to do with
his mother and him being broke. I mean, for somebody who's an icon in the Nigerian industry, it's very sad to see that he had such issues that he had to go.
It's slap 50 cents.
cap in
That's what
hand.
cost it.
No.
Stop it.
You went to phone, Baba. You went to almost 50 cents.
But it was embarrassing, that part of it, which is why I understand when you say we're embarrassed to read it.
Beyond
because I was,
embarrassment.
actually.
This is
And
a call.
For Festus to put that out, I was like, ish, man. Did
No.
you have to do that?
At
You
that
know-
level,
you know
yeah.
something,
it was very, he came really low then.
I
really
didn't look
low.
at it from that angle. I looked at it from the fact that many of these labels are not doing enough. I know quite well you have to recoup your investments, but while doing so, there's something called pension. Why not ensure that a percentage of whatever it is you eventually give to these guys is something you are investing somewhere for them?
Voluntary pension is not something that most
Nobody,
people actually,
are you happy to be paying pension?
Especially
No, are you happy to be paying pension?
yes,
Few
I am,
people
actually.
are, few people are not.
I mean,
Or rather, few
it's a
people are.
disservice not to. It's a disservice not
okay,
to
it's okay.
actually, appreciate the fact that you are paying pension. But for the entertainers, they keep making money.
And they forget that these things don't last
Voluntary
forever.
pension is very difficult because you're like, I'll put it next month. I'll put it 3 months later. I'll put it, and then you don't put anything until, and everybody has a time. You're going to go like that. It's all good. But hey, tell us what you think. Use the hashtag #WakeUpNigeria on TVC. Let's know what you think about the saga between Idris, I want to say Elba, Idris Abdul Karim
Elba.
and Festus Keyamo. And
Now
we
you
will
retrained.
respond to it. All right, so you are welcome. And of course, it's Mazino in the kitchen today with Chef Augusta.
Yeah, good morning, everyone.
Yay! We're excited this morning because we're going to be making something very, very, it might seem commonplace, but the truth is I don't even know how to make it, but I like to think that I like to have it. Today we're making what now?
We are making chin.
Yes, we're making chin chin.
Normal snappy snacks.
Mm-hmm.
that
Something you
take.
could put together,
Yeah.
take anywhere. All right, so I'm going to take this as a course for me because I don't
right.
know the first thing about chin chin. The only thing I know is from here to here.
Okay.
And that is it. But so I'm glad. So what are we going to be needing? What are we looking at here? I see we've got eggs and that stuff and that stuff
These
and
are
that
the
stuff.
main
Ingredients,
ingredient for it. We have the flour, milk flavor, butter,
Some butter.
and egg, nutmeg.
Okay. All right. So is that what I can smell? That nutmeg? Is that?
Yes.
There's this special aroma that comes with
Yes.
chin chin most times, and I think that's the nutmeg that
Yeah.
is always added. But I can do without nutmeg, yes?
You can, but when you need more flavor, can you also add cinnamon
Cinnamon. Yes, that's true.
and ginger? These are health-wise
Okay.
in our system.
Okay.
So,
I don't see any sugar though.
yes, we need sugar.
All right. We got
So
sugar.
flour
We're gonna get that sugar. We've got sugar.
Yes, we have sugar
Yeah.
that we need. So
All right. Okay.
those are the basic ingredients for it.
All right. So like what we have here would do for like how many servings of chin chin?
Just for, let's say, 10 persons.
10 persons. Wow.
Depends the quantity that is needed.
Okay.
10 or 5 persons is okay.
So is this something I can wake up in the morning and say, I feel like chin chin for lunch today. Let me make it before I go to work. Can I do that?
You can, depending on your time.
Okay, all right, well, let's just see now. So we're going to start preparations, and you've already seen the ingredients. We had that on the screen just moments ago. If you missed it, we're going to show it again. Chef Augusta here is going to take us through the process, the mixing and all. And please, I want to ask that you let me do most of it. Yes, that's it on your screen. Milks, eggs, flour, sugar, butter, nutmeg, vegetable oil, and baking powder. Very simple ingredients for you guys that you can get anywhere at any store. If you need any help, you might want to reach out and we'll tell you exactly where to go get it, but it's that easy. So let's get to mixing. What do we do first?
First, our bowl is cleaned.
Okay.
This is 1 cup of flour.
1 cup of flour. Do I put it in?
Just put it in.
Put it in. There we
So,
go.
These
Okay.
are, we mix the dry ingredient first.
All dry.
So
All dry.
you just take a layer of this.
Okay. A bit
If you
of
want it
nutmeg.
sharp.
All right.
Then these are milk flavor.
Okay, what milk? What?
Milk flavor.
Okay.
Once you use it, after frying, you see what it looks
Okay.
like.
Put it.
So we are putting as much as you want
Okay.
for the flavor to come out.
All right, all right, all right.
So we have a baking powder.
Baking powder.
A leaven agent that mixes
Okay.
it to rice. So
Wait, so chin chin rises as well? You have
Yeah.
to make it rise?
Yes.
I thought it was just cakes.
no, not just cakes. All snacks rices because
Oh,
of
nice.
the leaven agents in it.
Okay.
So they do rice.
All right.
So we have a sugar. I'm actually using 1/4 of it
Okay.
because not everybody likes their snacks to be that sugary.
All right. Okay.
That's why I'm actually doing this. So that
Okay.
is it.
Okie dokie.
That is it. So the last one is the butter. So we have to do mixing.
Okay.
I should do the mixing myself.
I was going to suggest that I do it, but all right, no problem.
I should do the mixing myself.
Do you have to always use your hands, or is there another way that we could do the
Yes,
mixing?
yes.
But I think if you use your hands, you get the texture right. You can
Yes,
feel
you
it. As
feel
you...
it very
Alright.
well. But
I
you
get
can,
it.
you can go the other way. The mixer is there.
Okay.
The mixer is there. So we mix with our hands.
Okay, that's good. Let's put that in the middle there so everybody can see
We mix with
exactly
our
what we're
hands
doing.
properly. The
Okay.
butter has to mix with the flour very well.
How long does it take to rise?
Let's say 30 minutes or 20
Oh.
minutes or thereabout.
That means I have to wake up 30 minutes earlier if I'm going to have
You
that
can
one
make
for
it
lunch.
overnight.
Overnight, okay.
That you make it overnight, place it inside a freezer.
Wouldn't it rise and
refrigerator?
fill the entire fridge?
No, that is why you are using a flick.
Okay.
Or you put it in a sealed plastic.
Okay.
Oh.
It doesn't continue rising, does it?
No, no,
You
no.
get to
It's
point
not
in
a
the-
yeast dough. This is a baking powder dough. As in, we have yeast dough. That is the one you're particularly talking about. That one rises all the
Yeast
time.
dough is different from baking dough.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
And that's used
When
for
you want to
cakes.
make your donut,
Donuts.
you make use of yeast.
Okay.
So, but for this, we are making use of baking powder.
There's something about chin chin that actually puts me off sometimes. Sometimes it's so dry that it tasks my mouth. I have to produce more saliva when I'm trying to eat it. So I find that sometimes, that's the part I like. Oh, you've done it already. I wanted to do that part. But go ahead, go ahead, go ahead.
I'm really sorry about that.
It's
So,
all right.
but normally, you pour it here
All right.
to avoid
Oops. Let's put it back in there.
any cracks. So, we
Right.
add one raw egg to it.
Okay.
And we're going to add a little water.
Okay. Just a bit of water. I've got some water down here.
So,
Okay.
you mix
How
that
much water now?
as you desire, because that is why you take it little by little, so that the dough don't has to be that light.
So how do I get
This
that?
is chin chin because it has to be crunchy.
But how do I get that hardness out?
You don't want, if there's soft chin chin and there's hard one,
So yeah. So what do I make?
but it has to be a little bit crunchy.
Just a bit crunchy.
Yeah.
So we're going for a little bit crunchy here
Yes,
with that
yes.
amount of water, and
Yes.
that's what determines, huh?
Yes.
The water that we put.
Yes.
All right. Tell you what, guys. While Chef Augusta is doing this, and while we are doing this, what do I mean? Let's take it to Mary, who's got a very interesting picture for us now. Here, we'll be back. Don't worry, we're taking care of everything here, and we'll let you know as we proceed. So, Mary, what you got for us?
So I've got the bra package. Yeah, I wanted that shock effect. But really, when you indulge in a lot of snacks like chin chin and the rest, it's just normal that your body size will enlarge and decrease depending on what you're doing about it. So right now, we're about to help ladies decide on which bra actually suits them best. The reality is sometimes when you want to go out or sometimes when you want to attend certain events, you aren't quite sure of what bra suits that particular outfit, and so it sometimes ends up being wonky because you don't look as good as you should just because some package isn't well packaged, in quotes. And that's
Welcome back and thank you for staying with us. Now on Parenting Today, we have family coach and marriage counselor Bisi Adewale, who's an accountant by training and a call to revive and repair broken relationships and marriages. We're talking today about intentional parenting. It's great to have you. You're welcome.
Thank you, Mike. Thank you for having me again.
Yep, it was quite an interesting discussion last week, and
Yes.
we had some very wonderful feedback about that one, and we're looking forward to a wonderful one today, intentional parenting. Now, that's something many people talk about, but, you know, people have different takes on it. What's your take? What do you mean by intentional parenting?
When we say to be intentional about something, is very simple. It means you are deliberate about it.
Okay.
You have a plan. You are conscious of what you are doing or what you want to do, or the result you want to, what you want to achieve out of it. We have two kinds of parenting. We have the one we call quick fix. Some people call it kick and follow parenting. Then the second one is intentional parenting. Majority of parents you see around, they are quick fix or kick and follow parenting.
Okay.
They base their parenting life, or how do I call it, parenting style on correction, not on instruction.
Okay, so it's more or less like it's reactive rather than proactive.
It's reactive rather than proactive.
Yeah.
It's like you didn't teach a child, I mean, you didn't teach a student in school. You will only come for exam or to examine the child and everything like that. But the real thing is, if you want to be intentional, there should be a plan. There should be a culture. There should be a value, thing you want to inculcate into that child. And you are going to prepare for it, plan for it. You have a purpose in mind. You have a destination in mind. You have a vision for every child. Then you are able to follow it up.
All right, so there's something which is quite instructive from what you said. Being, those two ways, being reactive or being proactive, that means that you don't wait for them to make a mistake before you correct.
Yes.
You already see what could go wrong. In what ways can parents be proactive when it comes to intentional parenting? Foreseeing those things that will happen or could happen and ensuring that they are nipped in the bud.
In fact, it is not about what will happen, what could happen, or what must not happen. It's about you sitting down and say, okay, this is what I want this child to become. The competence I want to put into that child, the character I want to develop, the composure I want to see in that child. The compassion I want. There's something they call CC of intentional parenting.
Okay.
So that compassion, that composure, that character, that convention, then that all those things you want to develop in that child, you package them together. Then you intentionally map out a strategy, a plan. Then you begin to train that child.
Practically, how can we? Because look, the most parents know is how they were brought up. They were brought up in a way that was toxic. They kind of learn to transfer, or maybe you pick from what you see in movies and all of that. How can you practically, say, teach a child, okay, let's say composure. You talk about, let's look for practical examples. How do you teach a child composure?
Shockingly, the most important aspect of intentional parenting is parental teaching or parental training of that parent, learning what to do, because you can't teach, you can't transfer what is not in you. Okay, you want to form a character. You don't want your child to steal. You don't want your child to be bad and everything like that. But you don't know how to go about it.
Exactly.
You don't even know the definition of pride. And you want your child to be humble. So the first thing is you need to learn, you need to read books, you need to attend training, you need to groom. I want to make this one clear. Parenting work is not by intuition. It's supposed to be by learning. Every parent should be committed to. If you ask any parent, listen to me now, how many books have you ever read concerning parenting? You'll be so shocked. So the mistake we are now making is we may be making the mistake, committing the error of our parents. Because you will just be a copycat. The same way your mom used to shout, you will not kill me, I didn't kill my parents, I didn't kill my mother, I didn't kill my... That's why you will see the generation of women, they normally shout on their children. The generation to come will still shout unless somebody sit down to learn the better way to do. So to be proactive...
What is the better way? Now, as opposed to shouting, because yes, we were raised, a lot of us were raised with parents who would shout.
Who shouts.
So what is the better way as opposed to shouting?
Instruction. You instruct a child. When you instruct a child, the first thing we need to notice is, if you are in school, in primary school, they will not give the job of a primary 1 to primary 2, primary 3 to primary 4. But in parenting, we don't know the difference between toddler and teenagers. We feel a toddler should be able to behave like a teenager, and at times the same thing we are doing to a toddler we want to do to teenagers. because there's no plan, there's no curriculum for it, there's no learning about it, there's no plan for it, we didn't budget for it, there's no purpose and vision. So that if you want the best for your children, the first thing you need to do is know the better thing you want to do, know the place you want them to be, know the place you are taking them to. Then you sit down, you learn this thing. Then consciously you begin to inculcate it in this child, and in that particular, I didn't say children, I said a child. You begin to inculcate it in that child, because you don't parent in what we call mass production, whereby we have about 5, 6, 7 sets of parenting. Children. Number one, we have the one we call the infants. Okay. We have the toddlers. Okay. We have the preschoolers. We have grade schoolers. We have preteen. We have teens. Teens are still divided into 2 or 3 segments. Then we have adult children. Then we have married children. All these children are different from each other. But an average parent will just say, these are my children. And you begin to teach them the same way. You begin to act to them the same way. If you are doing that, you are not intentional. So a child must be raised according to his gender or agenda. A child must be raised according to the age of that child. A child must be raised according to the personality of that child. Some children are quiet. They won't talk. Some children are outspoken. You need to know that. And by the time you understand these children, then there are some things you won't teach a child. For example, I have a child who is a very quiet one. Okay. I won't teach that kind of child meekness, because he's already meek. All right. My second born is very bold. I won't teach that child boldness again. I will be teaching meekness. Thank you. So that is all about intentional parenting.
I like it. I like it. That was a home run with your final statement. And I hope you're able to learn something from that. Each child, there's no one size fits all. You have to tailor exclusively parenting for his child. Thank you very much,
Thank you very
and it was always great having you on the show. All right, so let's see now, how intentional are we in the kitchen with what we're getting ready? Mazino, you don't know that Chinchin used to swear. You didn't know that Chinchin swells, yeah?
Oh, we're very intentional about what we're doing here. I'm doing the roller pinning, or whatever this is called, and she's doing the rolling pin, yeah. And she's doing the cutting. We're getting that chin-chin all ready for you guys. So I've learned so much here today. So this process here is just flattening the dough, and then we're going to cut it after, and then we're going to fry it. I think this is something I can actually do in the morning before work, maybe if I wake up at 2 a.m. So I guess that would work, won't it? Okay, so after this now, what are we doing?
We're going to deep fry.
Okay.
So
deep fry, what's the difference?
Deep fry, you make use of
plenty
a large quantity of oil.
Okay.
Vegetable oil.
All right.
To deep fry. So we have our dough, and we have cut it into...
Can I eat it like that?
No.
I can't?
No.
As a kid, I used to eat it when my mom used to make it just like that.
If it's a raw butter cake, very sweet.
Oh, only cake. Okay.
You enjoy it.
All right, so quickly, deep fry. Should it be hot first, the oil?
It has to be hot. It has its own temperature, but not too hot.
Okay.
If it's too hot, it fries too quickly, and it won't be nice.
It breaks up and all of that.
So we reduce the temperature while we fry.
All right, real quick, let's let you guys know what the ingredients are for our chin-chin here today. We have them on the screen. Milk, eggs, flour, sugar, butter, nutmeg, vegetable oil, and baking powder. Simple ingredients you can get from anywhere. And yeah, you can be up and doing with your chin-chin as soon as you get these, and if you apply all the little details that we have done here. So tell you what, let's do a break. When we get back, maybe we'll be done with all the chin-chin and you could taste it. Nah, maybe not, but you could try it at home. We'll be back to stay tuned.
You know, Apple.
Yes, I know. I like that most of the time when we're coming back on, the reactions are actually very real. They're not fake or anything, especially when it's you and I. This is beautiful, isn't it? Now,
if only everyone knew exactly what was. Like 2 things happened in the space of 30 seconds.
I know,
it's
right?
Crazy.
Listen, guys, imagine being given a blank canvas to paint the future you would love to see. What would you paint? What would you paint?
I would paint nothing. Actually, I would. I wouldn't paint anything, because I would just imagine that each day comes with surprises. I'll just take each day as it comes. I'm that kind of person. I don't like...
I'm not helping you out.
What would you do?
I know how that's just so bleak. It sounds like Thanos, because he would rather that. You want to destroy the earth.
Yeah, because you see, I have the time machine. I'm wearing it. When you stole it.
Anyhow, excuses will always be there for you. It's time to normalize creating the life that you truly want by owning your own journey. So paint what you want. Make sure it's colorful, use plenty of colors, and smile while you're doing it.
Now, while getting motivated, even though it's a Tuesday, Mazino, I should let you know that our journey began about an hour ago.
Yes, it did.
Yeah. Warm welcome to you. If you're just tuning in particular, a refreshing second hour it is. And I can't wait for what we have in store for the next 45 minutes.
Indeed, we're going to let you know. Remember, you can stream the show live, and you can also download our super app from the Google Play Store on iOS. Please, my name is Mazino Appeal.
And of course, my name is Mary Bashua Alimi. We still have Chef Augusta in the kitchen.
Yes, making some nice chin-chin.
She's just cutting. I know earlier I saw Mazino acting like he's one doing all the work. You see the real workout.
I don't know. Hey, it's team effort.
Team effort. Mazino, you were doing this, and we could still see the. Okay, let's talk about
whatever the case, I was helping out.
Yeah. Right.
Listen, Instagram, Twitter, and also on Facebook. You want to follow us? Use the hashtag #WakeUpNigeria on TVC. No, you. Yes. I noticed that you guys were talking about something about the chain of habits that mothers carry on and parents carry on, and it goes over generations.
And it goes on with children.
And this is something that I didn't need to be educated on. I just knew that it's something that had to be broken, because you have to admit it. Every one of us here grew up with a parent who actually bells on us when we do things wrong, not mattering what age we are at. It's just the same template they use. And for me, with my daughter, I've always used that instructive method, like, you know, and there's a marked difference. You find out that kids can ask questions as to why should I do it this way, and then get a better understanding of why they can't do it the other way, which is what parents don't know. If you yell at them, they're too scared to ask you anything.
Questions.
I just wanted to...
In most cases, it affects them at school. Most parents don't realize it. So you've already put it in them at home that you don't have the right to ask questions whenever you want.
timid.
So
you should be smart enough to know that you shouldn't ask certain questions. Yeah. And so they are smart enough to not even bother asking questions at all, and that's a problem.
So this is a very objective question. How did we become successfully in our different rights?
I will tell you something, that I only became more outspoken in my teen years. I was rather shy before then. Before I was 14. I was rather shy, and I think it's the effect of the old school parenting
style of parenting.
So there's something I've learned about life. It can be very funny. Okay. So on the one hand, having a great relationship with your parents can also make you want to protect them, forgetting that they are the adults that are supposed to protect you. And that's why sometimes you see a child that has a great relationship with the parents, not telling them about abuse, which is a problem. At the same time, having a great relationship makes it easier for you to express yourself. I didn't even know until I was like in my late teens that talking back to your dad was rude. That's what I heard. But we grew up in an environment where our parents allowed us to have an opinion.
But you're one of the lucky ones.
Absolutely. You want to talk back? that mouth that you use.
Like when my dad says, "Why is this here?" Normally, I see young people keep quiet, but you have to tell why.
You don't brush it in 3 days.
Tell you what.
It's too swollen.
Let's do some weather, find out if the sun is shining out there wherever you might be in Nigeria. We'll be back for the news. And you're welcome back for the second installment here for the news. It's Wake Up Nigeria. My name is Mazino Appeal. Now, gunmen attacked a police station. They've attacked a police station, another one, in Okigwe South local government area of Imo State, killing 5 officers, while 1 officer is said to be missing. The armed bandits also razed the police building. This attack is coming a few days after gunmen attacked the home of the Imo State governor and a police station in the south. And we take you now to Kaduna State, where security agencies have recovered 2 more dead bodies of Greenfield University students killed by armed bandits days ago. Now, the retrieved corpses have been evacuated to a mortuary, and the university has been notified of the development. Meanwhile, it was a time of sober reflection earlier yesterday when a delegation from the Kaduna State government sympathized with the families of the 3 students of the university killed by bandits 2 days ago after their abduction. The delegation, led by the Kaduna State Commissioner of Education, Shehu Mohammed, visited the families of the students in Jaji, Barnawa, and Sabon Tasha local government areas of the state. Now, the commissioner, while consoling the parents of the deceased students, reiterates the state government's position not to negotiate with bandits, even in the face of the present situation, noting that what is required is the collaboration of all stakeholders to fight the common enemy. And over 3,000 people have been displaced following an attack on the Kauri community of Shirori local government area of Niger State. The state governor, Governor Abubakar Bello, confirmed the presence of the insurgents in the community yesterday. According to the governor, the terrorists and bandits displaced the residents at IBB Central Primary School, Minna. In the company of his deputy, Ahmed Kesto, and Emir of Minna, Dr. Umar Farouk, he described the situation as critical and terrible, noting that it is high time for well-coordinated action in order to address the problem. And finally, now to health matters outside of Nigeria, around the world as well, as people around the world are rallying to try help India, which is in the midst of a surge in coronavirus cases, claiming thousands of lives each day. The UK, the US, and France are among the countries sending medical aid to India, which, in the words of its Prime Minister, is in the grips of storm that has shaken the nation. Hospitals are overwhelmed, unable to admit new patients, and people are struggling to get oxygen for their loved ones. The world's worst coronavirus surge has left Indian hospitals struggling to cope with shortages of beds, medicines, and even medical oxygen. India's coronavirus infection rate, growing at the fastest pace in the world, has left families and patients pleading for oxygen outside of hospitals. The relatives weeping in the streets as their loved ones die while waiting for treatment. The nation of nearly 1.4 billion people set a global record of new daily infections for a fifth straight day on Monday.
Hi.
And that's it for the news. Second time around, let's do sports now with Mike.
Now, we've been talking about having a musical performance on the show, but before that performance, I'm going to have a quick sit down with our guest, our performer, of course. Now, of course, he's going to be performing something much later for us to lift our spirits in this holy month of Ramadan. And to do justice to that is Tekumbi. Now, his real name is Uthman Bello. He's an alternative and Afrofusion artist who has a special rendition for us. Great to have you in the studio.
It's great to be here.
Awesome.
My pleasure.
Now,
Yeah.
that name, when you first mentioned Tekumbi, I was confused because I was like, Tekumbi, I don't think I've come across that until you now gave the full one of Omo Tekumbi.
Yeah.
Now, your name is Uthman Bello. How did
Yeah.
you come about that as your stage name?
It's a vibe, you know, it's my story, my background inspired the name, basically.
Your background?
My background, yeah, I came from a very, you know, strong background, Islamic oriented, you know, strong background, basically. So that inspired the name, like.
Now, you just mentioned vibe. Now, when people talk about Islamic music, the last thing you think of in most cases is vibe. And it used to be the same for even Christianity. Like, people just believe it has to be a certain way and all. So what would you say is like, you know, Islam's relationship with music is something people always have questions about. But
yeah.
from your perspective, what is it like?
You know, Islam is beyond how people look at it. You understand? Islam is a vibe on its own. So my perspective to Islam is for people to understand the fact that you can be creative as a Muslim. You understand? You can do whatever. You did what I'm saying. Like, you can do a whole lot of things. You don't have to be carved or boxed in a place. You understand? Like, Islam is about fashion. Islam is beautiful. There's a whole lot of things, you know. So Islam is a vibe, and I'm gonna let you know. Yeah. There is, man. Just wait. Just wait and see.
Interesting. Now, you know, when you talk about fashionable, especially that word fashion, the first thing that comes to people's minds is the women.
All right.
Now, most music videos, especially contemporary music videos, you see a lot of females being featured. That's your music video playing on screen right now. Now, you see a lot of females being featured.
All right.
What is your own perspective to that, especially when it comes to Islamic music? Do you think it's something that should be more infused, or something that, no, women are supposed to be like in a particular place where your music is concerned, or even where Islamic music is concerned?
All right, let me put it to you this way, yeah.
Okay.
If you need to pass an exam, you need to fall in love with the lecturer, the teacher. You understand? You need to find a way. You need to figure out a way to fall in love with them. Islam is a basic need for almost everybody. But a lot of people are afraid to join because they see it as a one-way kind of thing. Imagine a lady with the hijab and it's all colorful and beautiful. You know, Islam can be contemporary, can become an urban thing. You dig? Like, if the Prophet was here today, there'll be a lot going on about fashion. It's going to be beautiful. It doesn't have to be exposing, but it will be beautiful. Think of colors, think of shapes and how to, you know, there's a whole lot of things. Even people that do alternative music, Afro-pop, they use people with hijabs and stuff, and it comes out beautiful.
So there's really no problem with having females in your music videos?
There is no problem.
What counts is how they are portrayed?
How they are portrayed, basically.
Now, in several music industries, we see local, you know, not even local, we see, like, for example, Christian acts having songs with secular artists.
Right.
Is that the same thing for you? Would you like to do some kind of collaboration with secular artists? And if so, who?
Well, I'm definitely going to do so with regular artists. You know, like, what is regular artist? I am an artist, you understand? My career is just starting with a Bismillah, basically. You understand? It's just, I'm a Muslim. It doesn't change the fact that I can do other songs. I do other songs, actually. I'm bad at other songs. Dope. Yeah. So, Naira Marley is one of my favorite artists. You'll be surprised.
You heard that. Okay.
You dig. And you will be surprised that, man, I don't want to go into religion, but you would be surprised that even on that day, Naira Marley go first. God will sing Naira Marley first before some clerics. You did. Yeah, for real. I'm being serious.
Okay.
I'm being serious.
On a lighter note, though, has anyone ever told you you look so much like Burna Boy? No one has told you that. Well, I'm telling you that.
I keep getting there.
You keep getting that.
Yeah.
All right, so we'll head straight to the kitchen. Mazino is on standby, definitely not looking like Burna Boy.
Here, you'd be enjoying some of these that we're making right now. Chef Augusta is doing so much work. I'm just, like Mike would say, supervising. But we have some samples of our chin-chin, and I'm about to taste and see what it tastes like. She says this one's crunchy and soft. Let's see. Indeed, it is. We've got some more frying. Yeah. Some already made.
Yeah.
And hey, you already know how we got to this part. We're still cutting here and making sure that they're the right shape and size for our frying.
I'd like to say something.
Yes, please.
Normally, the nutritional value of chin-chin, people usually thought is just cholesterol. Do you know that this contains calcium, potassium, even fiber? So it is also good for your health. So that is why I recommend people to go out there and get theirs and eat and enjoy.
Fun fact. Calcium, potassium, fiber, all of that. Make sure you make some of these. And also, hey, it's a very easy thing to put together, especially even if you want to just make a little portion. Yeah. You can also save the cake dough.
Yes.
And then come back and reuse it.
Yes.
It won't rise or anything like that.
Nope.
So initially I thought that we did not have enough, but I can see that we are making quite a lot from that little dough that we had from before. So in order not to overdo it, what portion of flour do you think I should apply when I'm making mine?
Personally for you?
Personally. Just one, maybe like a bowl.
1 cup is okay for you.
1 cup is okay.
1 cup of flour.
And I like that there's not too much sugar.
Yes.
Still very, very nice. Yeah. And it's not too hard. It's not taxing my taste buds or anything.
You can also perceive the aroma of that milk flavor.
Was that nutmeg?
No.
What
milk flavor.
Milk flavor, okay.
Yeah.
Now, so if I want to play around with taste, what else could I add?
As I said earlier before, you can add cinnamon.
Cinnamon, okay.
You can add powdered ginger.
Okay.
They're all health-wise.
Okay. If you're at home and you're looking at the screen, you can see the ingredients on there: milk, eggs, flour, sugar, butter, nutmeg, vegetable oil, and also baking powder. Very easy items that you can get from your neighborhood store. Put them together early in the morning and you can have yourself some chin-chin. Some for the kids to take to school when they resume. I bet they're resuming next week.
Yep.
Yeah, exactly. We would know. We're parents.
And they will be need of this.
They'll be needing all of this. So you better get to know how to make it.
Thank you for staying with us. It's Health. This Tuesday we have Toyin Lulu Ogumade, the founder of Precious Conceptions, and we're talking about understanding your fertility advantage. Now she's on a mission to demystify infertility and eradicate the societal stigma attached to surrogacy through advocacy, education, and awareness. It is great to have you. You are welcome.
Thank you.
All right, so you are a fertility expert, right? And let's see now. You see, there's a stigma attached, like you mentioned earlier, to surrogacy and all of that. How is from your own angle to how's societal perception? How exactly is this level of stigma that is attached to surrogacy?
Okay, because people don't talk about it, so a lot of people don't think it exists, but it does exist. And unfortunately, a lot of the people who go through it do not want to share about it because they think, how we as a people. It's a private thing, something you can't do in your bedroom yourself. And then people now know about it as your difficulty, as your challenge. And now you're saying, you had to go through surrogacy. So people don't understand that concept of surrogacy. And where ignorance thrives, then there's a lot of stigma.
All right. Okay, so we're talking about fertility now, boosting your fertility and all of that. What ways can that be done?
Well, in the past weeks, we've talked about changing your lifestyle, your diet, looking at the treatment option that works for you, and realizing that it's not only you, on this journey. There are at least 1 in 8 people, couples of fertility years that suffer, some form of infertility or some form of childbearing delay. So you're not the only one on this journey, and you should always seek help as much as possible.
Yes. Now, something people associate with this is that they feel it is always very expensive. Is that the case?
It is, because unfortunately it is around the world. It is. And there are a lot of things that come to play when you talk about treatment options. Unfortunately, even those treatments are not 100% guaranteed. So you have people who go through various cycles of treatments. Various IVF treatments, cycles, over and over again to achieve, their purpose. So it consumes whatever little means of, resources. Now,
what is the best chance a woman or a couple can give to themselves naturally? Like, we know what's spoken about diet, foods, and all of that.
Yes.
What is the best way you can stand instead without, naturally?
Start early. If you want to delay conception, delay it with wisdom. If you don't want to delay, then start early. Because for a woman, age is the #1 thing that is against her. Her eggs are older than her. So we say start early. And once you are married, 6 months, you are not seeing anything, and you're over 35, please go to a fertility specialist. If you're under 35, you can wait 12 months before you start seeking help. But don't let it delay beyond 1 year. Seek help. Because a lot of these things, if caught early, can be reversed. Okay. And you can still conceive spontaneously, by yourself on your own in your bedroom. But if you now delay, then it's dangerous. And then you now have so many things that come up.
Oh, yes, exactly. Now, it gets to the point of alternative methods. People who do unorthodox medicine and all of that, they want to go to... We have a number of people who want to try that.
Yes,
are there any pros? What are the cons of, seeking alternative
You see, you can
remedies?
Expose yourself to so many dangers because you don't know where these people are coming from. You get, and diagnostic, they don't have enough diagnostic tools. Do you understand? And a lot of the medicines they use are not, you can't really measure them. You can't quantify. You can't put them in doses. I'm not saying some don't work, but there are a lot of quacks out there, and you have to be careful, which is where I tell people you have to understand your fertility advantage. What is it that works for you?
For you, as
How do you recognize that thing that will work for you?
How can you find it out?
Okay, so when somebody is going through infertility, there's so many disadvantages. For some people, it's the male factor. For some people, it's the female factor. Okay? But what we find is that people flog... Now, take, for example, my own situation. I had to go through surrogacy because I had an issue with my uterus. Now, some other people will not readily embrace that and want to keep trying. So they keep flogging that issue that is wrong. They keep flogging that difficulty they have, hoping that they'll be able to flip it and twist it into, you know, a positive outcome. But I tell people, look at the advantage you have. And what is your advantage? It is that thing that gives you success, that thing that stands you out, that thing that will work to your advantage. And if you don't have it, you can buy it, you can borrow it. Do you understand? And you can build it up. So for instance, in my own case, I didn't have a viable uterus to carry a child, and I need one.
Okay.
So I had to borrow one through surrogacy.
Through surrogacy, okay.
Now, some other people will need the egg. Her eggs are old, or something is wrong with her genetically. She can't pass it on to her child. You'll tell that woman, get an egg donor. So she's compensating that egg donor. It's under buy. She's not particularly buying the egg.
Okay.
Do you understand?
Okay.
But she's also taking it, she's borrowing it, she's using it to play to her advantage. You'll find some men that they're shooting blanks. It's not that they are not producing, but they can't conduct, they can't release it. So you put some men through surgery and they are fine. But some men, you have to go a bit further and you do some aspiration process. You draw it out from their testes and you use their sperms for IVF. That becomes the advantage. So you need to recognize what the situation is that is not working for you, and then how you can flip it so that you have some form of advantage and work towards success.
You know, because of the diversity of courses when it comes to infertility and all of that, I wanted to ask, maybe, you know, for people to have an idea of financial cost and all of that, but that's going to be hard. Maybe let's say the common ones. Can people have an idea of maybe the financial, what it will take financially to sort of things like this?
Okay, there's so many treatment options.
Okay.
And what works for you might not be what will work for some other person.
Definitely.
Okay, but if we look at the common ART treatments that are out here, you have artificial insemination, which is about the cheapest. You can get that for about 300, 350.
And that's the cheapest?
That's about the cheapest.
Wow.
Okay. And then you go into IVF, which is like the high level. You can get for 1.5, 1.7, 2.1. But
per treatment?
Yes, per cycle.
Per cycle,
but then when you have to repeat it, it becomes more expensive.
It becomes...
When you now have to go through variants, like using egg donors, like using surrogate mothers, then it becomes more expensive. Okay, so that's why we talk to people, if you can still reverse a lot of these things naturally.
That you do what you can. You didn't mention
a
surrogate. Using a surrogate, what's the average expense?
Be ready for like a 7 million.
Wow.
Yes, because you're taking care of your IVF treatment. You're taking care of surrogate expenses. You're taking care of her upkeep, the agency that will manage. You're taking care of legal and background checks. You're taking care of the pregnancy and then the delivery. Usually a surrogate delivery is through cesarean section. Okay. So you're taking care of all of that. And you're just hoping and praying that that first cycle will work. Now, of course, those payments are in installments. You don't go up and dump that all at once.
So
then milestones. So as you achieve a particular milestone.
Over the course of a pregnancy period. So you're looking at 9 months to a year. That's something that you can pay over.
About a year, yes. And you can work towards that. You can save towards that. Yes.
Okay, so what's your final word now? It's before. Is there anything people can do, say, before they even get married and all of that? I know there's a case of even women that can get to store eggs maybe for a later date if they don't want to have kids now. Maybe they are getting to a point whereby it's going to be naturally almost impossible. What can people do? Like you had mentioned the advantage before, maybe before marriage and all of that, to give themselves the best chance?
Your lifestyle, basically.
Your lifestyle, exactly.
Your lifestyle. Smoking, drinking, exposure to chemicals, pollutants. They don't augur well for fertility. Okay. Then your diet, your nutrition, your diet. You have to be deliberate about the things you eat and the things you don't eat, because some of the things you don't eat, some of the nutrients you don't take in, might form a deficiency in your system. So once you are balanced in terms of your wellness, your nutrition, your faith in the Lord, and then you begin to plan. You know that you're planning to get married, you're planning to have children. And you get education, you get counseling, you get some advisory services. Hey.
When it comes to nutrition, that's something, of course, we've had different segments on nutrition on this show. That's something that many people don't really think is something. You just put up anything that you have into your mouth and throw it down.
A lot of these things we eat are poison, unfortunately.
Especially when it's processed, yeah?
Yes. Some are over-processed. Some are laden with chemicals and toxins, you know, and your body has to find a way naturally to detoxify. And if you're not able to do that regularly, it just builds up in your body system and shoots out in so many things. Infertility is one of the areas that it can shoot out from.
All right, thank you very much. It was great. That was quite an expose. It was great having you on the show this morning. I hope you were able to pick up something out there. That advantage, like she said, is about working to finding out where you have an advantage and, you know, trying to amplify that particular advantage.
Exactly.
To start to give yourself the best stead when it comes to, you know, conceiving and all of that. Thank you very much.
Thank you for having me.
So, for those that have already conceived, Mazino and Mary will definitely, you have something for our guest, right?
Yes, we have plenty.
Bring her over,
bring her over. Right? We can't wait to have her here.
So, please, ma'am, they have something here for you.
Michael, just
Mazino, the way you are, okay, just go there. But the way you are, look at that.
You are welcome, madam.
Thank you, Mazino.
Welcome.
Nicely screened and everything. Let me help you up on your store.
Okay.
Going to take special care that you do not topple over.
This is chin chin.
Yes.
This is chin chin. It's very easy to make. We made it together, by the way.
I saw you.
We would never hear the end of this, but it's fine.
I saw you. And you were talking about the brown ones.
Yes. So, Chef Augusta, tell her how I made this.
Okay, it's very simple. We use a basic ingredient. He used.
Thank you.
Okay.
Oh, yeah, right.
So I was.
Let's try it.
Okay.
Try it.
So
Basic
this is chin chin a la Mazino.
Thank you. Oh,
if it was by Mazino, trust me, you won't even eat it.
But it's really nice. It's chewy. It's not hard. It's not.
See what we
it's
did
not
there.
tasking on your jaw.
Exactly. See,
Fantastic.
we've done a good thing here. So I like it when it's very crunchy but yet soft. It's just easy on your salivary glands. Just helps you. You know,
it's really nice.
Yeah, you can have a lot of it.
That's a creamy taste too. Yeah. Buttery as well.
So what do you have in here? A lot of butter?
Butter and not much sugar, because not everyone likes sugar.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Another ingredient of that.
A little bit of nutmeg here, a little bit of
for flavor.
Flavor. You can add cinnamon if you want.
Is everybody observing how Mazino is echoing the chef? Must you act like you did it?
I like to use the water actually determines how crunchy it is.
The water. Mazino.
No, you can use water. You can use liquid milk.
Liquid milk.
So anyone you prefer.
Okay.
Water is more natural.
Exactly.
Everything that comes to it is natural.
That's what
so
I was
it's more better.
At this point, I must say a very big thank you to everyone who has been a part of the show today, everyone who has contributed in one way or the other, as well as the chef, of course.
Chef Augusta.
Thank you so much for this.
Thank you.
We can't wait to dig in. Tomorrow is another day. Mike.
So there have been calls. I've mentioned this on social media. There have been more calls that we need 2 days of Wonder Women.
Yes, so
increase the days.
Don't mind it.
Tomorrow for
very soon we might have another addition to the team, and this one will be a guy, so they can have Wonder Men's.